This is the luckiest maths teacher in the world. Thank you so much for tuning into this video on simple interest. So what is interest? Well, interest is extra money that's either earned or borrowed when you're dealing with usually a bank. So for example, if you borrow $5,000 from a bank, you don't pay back just $5,000, you have to pay back a bit extra. That extra money you paid back is called interest. Similarly, if you invest money, say with a bank, you might put it in a fixed term deposit, the bank will pay you to keep your money there. So that extra money they pay you is called interest. Now the calculation for interest is the same whether we're calculating interest owed or interest earned. We use the same formula and it's based on percentages. This is the formula here, I equals PRT over 100. Of course, I is the amount of interest that's either earned or owed. P stands for principal, so that's actually how much you start with, the initial amount that you borrow or invest. So R is the rate as a percent, and T is the time. So it's very important that R and T are in the same units. So usually the rate is given as PA, which means per annum or per year. So if that's the case, if the rate is per year, then T must be the number of years. So the idea here is we will get an interest rate like 5% per annum, and all we're really calculating is 5% of the principal times the number of years. That's all there is to this formula. So let's go ahead and look at some examples. So we'll start with this top one here. I invest $5,000 at 3% per annum simple interest. How much money would I earn after 4 years? So basically what we're doing with the formula is we're calculating 3% of 5,000, which is $150. So this person would earn in interest $150 every year. So after 4 years, they just earn 4 lots of 150. That's what the formula does. So using the formula, we have interest equals principal, how much you started with, times rate as a percent, times 4. Note they're in the same units, per annum and years. And then, of course, we need to divide by 100. Make sure you don't forget that. And then we get exactly what I said we would, $600. We're just adding 3% of 5,000 to the total each year. So, of course, after 4 years, this person would have 5,600 in total. All right, let's look at the second example. So, borrow 1,800 at 9% per annum. How much interest would I owe after 18 months? So 9% of 1,800 turns out to be 162. So this person would owe in interest $162 per year. But this rate is in year, but we have the time is in months. So we need to change the time so it's in the same units as the rate. So of course, 18 months is 1.5 years. Of course, to go from years to months, we would times by 12, and to go from months to years, we divide by 12. So if you need to change the time, as a general rule, if you're going from a smaller unit to a larger one, you divide. So here we've gone from months, which is a smaller unit of time, to a larger unit of time, which is years, we divide. So now we've changed the time into years, we can just use our formula again. So the interest will be principal times rate times time, not times by 18, we times by 1.5. So they're in the same units. And so you should get $243. So this person would owe 1,800 plus 243, they'd have to pay back $2,043 in total. But how easy is it with the formula? All right, let's look at another type of example on which people frequently make mistakes. So let's look at this question here. I borrow $12,500 at 4.5% per annum for 6 years, and we're going to calculate the monthly repayment. We're going to calculate how much does this person need to pay back each month so that the principal and interest are all paid back within 6 years. So most people make mistakes on this question. Now, they started off well. They realize, okay, well, we can't really do anything, figure out how much this person has to pay back until we know how much interest they need to pay. So let's use the formula to calculate the interest payable. So we have I, interest, equals principal times rate times time, because the rate and time are in the same units, divided by 100. So that part's easy. I mean, you could just put it on your calculator and get 3,375, right? So that's how much interest this person would pay back. Now, the mistake people make is they usually think, okay, cool, so the monthly repayment would just be 3,375 divided by the number of months. But of course, that's not how it works. This person is not paying back just 3,375. They're paying back that plus the 1,250. So the amount that they have to pay back is 12,500 plus the interest of 3,375. So they'll be paying back $15,875 in total. So that is the number we need to divide by the number of months. So 6 years, as I said in the previous slide, if you want to go from years to months, here you need to times by 12. So 6 years is 72 months. When you're going from a larger unit of time to a smaller unit, you times, because there are more of the smaller unit. There are more months than years. So the total repayment, I'll just call REP, will be the total amount to be repaid. So that is the interest plus the principal divided by the number of payment periods. So if you put that on your calculator, you get 220.486111. When we're dealing with money, you should always round to the nearest dollar, nearest 5 cents, nearest cent, whatever. One of those is fine, but don't write, like 20 decimal places when we're dealing with money. So to the nearest cent, this would be $220.49 per month. That means that the loan amount, the principal plus the interest, will be repaid in full after 6 years. Let's look at some examples when we're finding P, R, or T. So this question at the top says, I want to earn $5,000 in interest in 4 years. The bank offers 5% per annum, and how much would I need to invest? So this time, the question is not asking us to find the interest. It told us the interest. How much we would need to invest is asking us to find P, the principal, the initial amount. So remember, our formula is I equals PRT over 100. This is a rule. It has 4 variables, I, P, R, and T. If you know 3 of those, you can rearrange the equation to find the 4th. So in this case, I can find what P is because I know I, R, and T. So how do I go about this? All I do is substitute everything I do know into this formula and then rearrange to find the prenumeral that I'm interested in this case, P. So in this question, I have I equals P, that's the thing I don't know, times R times T. Again, I have R and T in the same units. One's per annum and the other's years. So I need to divide that by 100. So in order to get P by itself, what I'll do is I'll do the numbers by themselves. I can put that on my calculator if I want. So 5 times 4 divided by 100 gives me 0.2. So I've got 5,000 equals 0.2 P. You know how to solve an equation like this. I want to undo timesing by 0.2. That means I divide by 0.2. And if I put that on my calculator, I get 25,000. So the answer is I would need to invest $25,000 in order to earn $5,000 interest in 4 years at 5% per annum. And if you wanted, you could check your answer by substituting in the value we obtained for P, T, and R into this formula here and seeing if I get I equals $5,000. I'll leave you to do that. All right, let's look at the second question. I want my investment of $2,500 to double in 8 years. What interest rate do I need for this to happen? So what interest rate? This one is asking me to find R. In order to do that, I'm going to go through the same process that I just did. I'm going to take my formula I equals PRT over 100, substitute in everything I do know, and then rearrange the equation to get R by itself. So remember, I need to know 3 of the variables in order to find the 4th. So here, I know that T is equal to 8. And I know that the principal is equal to 2,500. Now, I also need to know the interest. Even though that's not explicitly told, we can figure out what it is, because I want my investment of 2,500 to double. So I want my investment to become $5,000. So for that to happen, the interest needs to be 2,500. So if the investment doubles, then I is equal to P. If I start with 2,500 and earn 2,500, I have 5,000, i.e. double my initial investment. So now I've got 3 things. I'm going to substitute them into the formula. I equals P times R times T over 100. So once again, I'm going to look at just the numbers here and figure out what they equal. So 2,500 times 8 over 100. If I put that on my calculator, I get 200. So 2,500 equals 200R. You know what to do. Just divide each side by 200. I get 12.5 equals R. So R is always a percent. So the interest rate I need is 12.5%. Now, because T was in years, R will now be in years. So that means the interest rate would be 12.5% per annum. And you should write a sentence answer to a sentence question. And of course, your answer should directly answer the question being asked. What interest rate do I need for this to happen? I need a rate of 12.5% per annum. All right, this has been the luckiest maths teacher in the world. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.